let's oh now
There
let's
it
start.
goes.
Yeah. So as Kenny had said, I've been working in Sakai since 2005, and during all these years, I've been in several places, um, making a lot of roles. But two of these roles have put me in contact with the requirements of the community. The first role, well, I was in my first job, I was the learning management system administrator and maintainer, and I was having all the complaints from the instructors about the functionality in the learning management system in Sakai. So I had a lot of requests from them. And after that, in the other companies, I've been, well, maybe not selling is the word, but I was presenting Sakai in a lot of universities. I was counting one day, and I think I've been in more than 300 universities presenting Sakai. And I was listening to their request about functionality. And after all this time, one of the things that are in the top of the functionalities that people is requesting for Sakai, and it's still not there, is something so simple as the the progress of the students in a course, to know if the student is in the 65% of the course, of if he has finished the course. Is something simple. In some institutions, maybe that's not important, but in others, that's a very interesting parameter that they want to know. And sometimes it has been a really deal breaker with Sakai, and we have lost some potential Sakai institutions because we don't have this feature. So some months ago, um, I received an email from Arizona State University proposing to Unicon to collaborate in a project that is called the Capstone Project. The Capstone Project is a collaboration between university and companies, where a group of students that are in the last year of their studies, so they are almost graduated, um, they want to enter in touch with the industry and work in a real project that takes 6 months, and they need to build software that works and that is real. It's not just an exercise or an assignment. It's something that it should be enough complex to really be a good project. When the email arrived, I just find the opportunity to make real this feature that I always wanted to be in Sakai. And together with the team of students that are going to present these slides today, we are doing something that I expect to be very interesting for the community and very useful. So from here, I'm going to leave Jonathan as the voice of the group, that he's going to present everything about this project. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Diego. So a little bit about the group. So we're all coming at this from a unique perspective. We're coming at it from the perspective of students, and we're all online students. We're kind of all across the world. So we get the multicultural plus coming at it looking as an online student. So with that, let's try to move forward and get into some of the meat and potatoes here. So why do we need the service? Is there a way to already, or is there a way in Sakai to know if a student has finished a course or not? Is there a way in Sakai to know where each student is in the course? So as Diego was saying, knowing the progress of a student is one of the most desired but never implemented features in Sakai. And can kind of see why, because it opens up a lot of new possibilities for the instructors, the institutions, and even the students. But just starting with the instructors and the institutions, it allows them to extract information to help the students out. So as I think from an instructor's point of view, I can't think of an easy way currently that they can go in and just at a quick glance see what the status of all their students are. Are any of their students having any trouble? Or even at the institution level, are any classes struggling, having problems? And on that end, it may be extremely difficult for each of those parties to fix issues in their classes before actually getting to the end. So, additionally, like I said, with the students, it improves it. As a student, I can tell you there's no easy way to figure out how you're doing in a course other than to take and add up all your grades, all your assignments, and then do all the manual labor yourself. So having an option for you to go in and actually just at a quick glance say, "Oh, I'm 75% done with this course and I'm on track to pass or I'm on track to finish," would be a great service to us. But on top of that, it also prepares the Sakai project for future development. So this one tool, this one service opens up the door for other tools, such as being able to create badges. You can generate entire learning paths that are dictated by students completing, doing completion requirements within the tool. You can provide certificates, so you can kind of add some automation into it too, which might help reduce man hours. And then for institutions and instructors, it allows you can possibly pull interesting data that you can use in different kind of analytics. So how can we do this right now? So like I was saying, you can use the gradebook tool that currently is available, and you can brute force it manually, go through and figure out what students are doing, how they're, and what their actual grades are and everything. But that opens up the possibility for manual errors. So is everything currently in the course graded? Could you have missed anything while you were taking a look? Or is it possible that an assignment's not even there for you to take a look at, so you just miss it altogether? So we have those issues. You have conditions in the lesson builder plus the grades, and you also have site stats. But from what we've kind of gathered, the site stats aren't really displaying information clearly for each single student. So what our goal is really with this is to go through and actually make it something that's simple and easy for the students and instructors, institutions to take a look at. So some of the, like I was telling you, some of the other things that we can do with it, you have your learning paths. You can do conditional enrollment. So as a student's going through the learning path, if you interface with the tool, but as they go through the path, you can actually, as they complete different milestones, you can open up the next course. You can open up the next portion of the course. There's a lot of different possibilities there to kind of automate the students' paths, but keep it under control, so where they're not jumping too far ahead when they're not supposed to. You can also open up badges and different type of reward programs like that, which is good because it allows you the possibility of giving students positive reinforcement. And besides, who doesn't like getting a new badge or a little bit of competition between each other? You can open up this, like I was saying before, the certificates give you a little bit of the you can kind of automate it a little bit, but it gives students instant feedback, you completed this, here's your certificate, without waiting, which is kind of big for the newer generation. And then you also have your reporting, which gives the instructor more control and knowledge of the course completion requirements. The institution, like I said, should be able to drill down and actually view how the different courses are doing. And like I said, the student itself, that's a big one for us, is being able to see that the course is actually completed or where we stand in the course. All right. So what are our key requirements? And this is what we came up with, Diego. And keep in mind that as we go through this, we're still very much in the design phase. So if you have ideas or different things that you would want to see in this from your perspective at the end of this, please let us know. We're more than happy to take some notes down and see if we can implement stuff. So our requirements, the course completion has to be managed separately from the grading. So we can't use just the grade book. We have to be, because we need to be able to give the users, the actual person using it, the ability to drill down what completion actually means. So or what progress actually means. Are we doing it by grades? Are we doing it by assignment, by time, by some other measurement? But if we just solely base it off grading, we kind of lock ourselves into that one item. So that's a big one for us. And kind of played on this second bullet already, configuration by completed assignments or by grades. So we need the user to be able, or the instructor to be able to choose how it's configured at runtime. So currently the way we were planning on doing this is to use kind of like a settings or a configuration tab to allow the user, kind of like what the different things are set up now, but to allow the user to go in and actually configure what an assignment is, or what the progress measurement is. But additionally, by doing that, we allow them the ability to assign weights to different items in each measurement. So by doing that, you actually give even more control and more customization for the individual. But we also are wanting to keep it simple so that way users will actually want to use it, and it's not just that we program something and nobody uses it because it's difficult to use. I think we've all had programs like that before. And then we needed to calculate and display and release the percentage of completion. So with that, we needed to be able to not only display it inside of the tool within Sakai, but we also need it to be able to display information through a REST API. So that way it's prepared for the future. It can be used in other products, and it's not just stuck right there where it's at. Plus, it kind of follows the same model that the other tools in the system use. But we were also looking at optional ways of configuring the tool, such as giving the user possibly the option to choose, instead of saying a 50 question quiz and a 2-page essay and this assignment and that assignment, starting to give the option to the user of a 50 question quiz or a 2-page essay. You can do either or and it'll satisfy that requirement. So basically we just wanted to be super customizable but easy to use for the individual using it. So like I said, we are open to suggestions on everything. Moving forward here though, so how do we actually get there? So from talking with different experts and different people in the community, we've come up with a few basic things. So we know we need to create a data model in the database to store our configuration files. So to get a little bit more technical on that, we're going to actually build this model, or we're going to build our data model over the next week probably, and that should be fully ironed out, and we should have our scripts built to go ahead and build those tables. Additionally, we were talking with different experts, and we should use straight JPA to interact with the database. But even more so, we've definitely realized that if we don't use this and we try to access the database directly, that's going to be a bad omen for us as it gets rejected by the community when we try to publish this thing. And as I said, we want this to actually function and for users to have this functionality in the future. Like I said before, we'll provide a REST API and the Sakai service, both of those using Spring. So just basically following the same pattern that everybody else has followed. And then for the view layer, we're going to use TimeLeaf to produce the templates for rendering everything, which seems to be what the project is moving towards. So kind of our plan here. So we are currently we're currently getting everything designed up, but like I said, that should be done in the next week or so. And then by the 30th, by November 30th, we want to have a proof of concept, or kind of like a prototype completed, so where we can start getting community feedback and starting to figure out and realize what will be the end product for the user. Additionally, we are all students, so we do have a winter break come up between December 1st, January 1st. As a group, we've decided we're going to try to continue to work on this project, but it's going to be at a reduced pace. And some of us will be there, some of us won't. I mean, we're students. We have to take some time off. We have some professors that give us some really difficult classes. But so then we're looking by March 1st, we're going to have the full implementation of it completed. And by mid-March, have the unit and integration testing completed. And our biggest plan is to have Sakai community bless off on this and tell us they love it and integrate it into the system by April 1st. So as we go forward, we're looking at the community. We realize the community when it comes to Sakai is everything. So first, our end goal is to enhance the Sakai functionality. We want to provide benefits to the users. Otherwise, if we don't provide benefits, it's kind of pointless to even do this project, and we're wasting everybody's time, which we don't want to do. Second, we need the Sakai community for guidance and approval on our final project. So if we don't use them, we kind of fail on the previous point. And also on this last point on the slide as well. So by working closely with them, we want to make sure that we're using the best practices within the community. And this will also help us make sure that we get accepted and our code actually gets integrated into the Sakai project and gets to find its way to the end users to hopefully help make life easier and better. So before we contribute anything, so before we start pushing anything back to the community, and before we start really jumping into everything, we want to ask for feedback. So we wanted to write in the community list. So like I said, as problems and concerns arise, which we know they will for sure, it's a programming project, and one as big as Sakai will definitely provide some problems and obstacles for us to overcome. But by reaching out to the community, we get some experts, some people who have been working on this thing for a decade plus to give us help and guidance. And then by presenting here, we're asking for feedback, but this is kind of our way of introducing the project to everybody in the community. And like I said, getting your feedback. Tell us what you want, what you don't want. Tell us what you would want it to look like, or what you want out of it. And then, of course, we're definitely going to bug the community for technical advice. We've already reached out to some of the main architects to actually get a copy of or to get an idea of what a tool should actually look like within the system. So that way we make sure we're following the best programming practices, where we're basically building it the way that it needs to be built now, so that way it's there for years to come. So here's our target. Kind of did a brief mock-up. It's not overly pretty. We're open, like I said, to design suggestions, but we're going to continue designing this and making it look much better along the way. So our target at the end of this is to give a first working version of this tool. And then also we want to open doors to future improvements. We don't want to just program something and then it die. We want it to continue to persist and to get better. So like I said, if you like it, great. If you don't like it, we want to hear. Let us know. Tell us what you want and what we can do to make it better. And then, like, we really want to create something that people use. So if you've used it over time, let us know, and Tell us what you want. So for future steps, we foresee this adding other options. We foresee being able to add other options to measure the progress. So you can create additional tools that pull information from this, such as we discussed with the possible tools for learning paths and whatnot. Additionally, we want to integrate alternative metrics for course completion besides just grades and assignments and different things. Maybe we can use time, and there's so many different possibilities with this. We also want to be able to use the future grading service, which can be located at the link on the slide. So that way we do have the longevity with the project. So with that, we did get done a few minutes early here. So with that, I will kind of open it up to the group and see if there's any questions or any feedback or anything.
Yes, I've been answering some things in the chat, but I think that maybe people was not reading the chat. So it can be interesting to talk about what we have been discussing in the chat. So the first question, and very interesting from Tonko, was what's the difference between this and the checklist feature that Lesson Builder has? Because in Lesson Builder, you can add links to different Lesson Builder parts, and you have like a checklist that the student is filling. Well, the main answer about the difference is, first, this is going to be a Sakai service that is independent of any tool. And it's going to use information for different tools, not only for lessons. So if you don't use lessons in your course, you still can use this service. And any tool in Sakai will be able to use this service for anything that they want. It's going to be like any other service in Sakai, like the security service or any other service. This is one of the things. The second thing is I was viewing and asking because I was not sure about that, but seems that the checklist is very useful for the student because they can view their progress in the lesson builder tool, but the instructors have not any report about that. And this tool that we are going to create in the top of the service that we are talking about is going to allow the instructor to build reports about all the students in the class. And David proposed one interesting feature that is use traffic lights. So I understood this like trying to put some color codes in the students so you can view the students that are in green, in yellow, and in red, basically in their progress. So you can center your effort in the red ones if you are a mentor that needs to contact them and ask them how are they doing. And so the traffic light idea can be very interesting for interface, and we will take note of that. So don't use display a percent, use a color code that can be helpful. And so if any other person has questions or feedback, you can do it now using the chat or open the microphone. And I don't know, Jonathan, you in the next slide, I think you have something very interesting too. So if you can pass to that.
There we go.
Yeah. So there is a public repo where we are going to update the changes in the code. And I don't know if at this moment it's open the issues feature that GitHub has, but if we can open it, the people can start to write there and ask for features or make comments or do whatever they want. It can be a good way to have feedback from the community, open the option for anyone to write there.
Okay. Yeah, Diego, I can definitely do that one. Probably right after this, I can go open that up for everybody.
Yes, people are saying that the colors can be a problem with accessibility, and I agree. We need to find different ways to display that. Color can be useful, but we can have several indicators that are not only color related. Okay. Well, if we don't have any question, I think we can thank everyone for listening here. We are waiting for all the feedback. We maybe can reopen the discussion that we started time ago in the Sakai list and make it to work again. And I hope that in some months we will be fighting to include this in the in the code. That is going to be the most difficult thing, because you know that including tools in Sakai, they need to be uh, very good tools with the right technology, and that's what we are trying to do.
Okay, so David was asking us what's the best way for them to let us know issues or input. So I'm going to actually, for us, probably the best way is I'm going to open up the issues tracker on our GitHub repo,
Yeah.
or repository. And if once I get that open up, if you want to put it in there, that would be great. And not sure about any, Tanko was talking about any need for trial institutions. I don't know just yet, but definitely put something in the issues tracker. We'll take a look at it and see. We're
Yes.
probably a lot right after we get it accepted into the community, or towards the end there, definitely would need something like that.
Yes, we have a comment from John that is very important, and we have been discussing exactly that in when we were taking the requirements. So it's very different, distinguish the concept of component completion and the components of a final course grade. Both things, as John is saying, have sense, and it's not exactly the same. And we want to have this different. So this completion is going to be more, yeah, at least in the first version, going to be more like the checklist that we were saying. Okay, I'm a student and I need to finish all these 25 things in the course to arrive to the end, and I've done 15 of these 25. So we are not going to care about the grades in this first version. It's something that we can rethink in the future for further versions, and allow the instructor to maybe create something that weights the grades in some way. That's difficult. That's difficult to do. I think that in this first version, just keeping the idea of completion of components is more than enough. But yes, in the future, we can think about that. It will be very good if someone, John, if you have clear how this could be done, have your feedback about that in a more complete explanation. Other discussion that we had in the group, one of the components say that, and it was a very clever comment, is that some courses are not based on just on components, are based on time. So some courses, they happen in 7 weeks, and every week things happens. So maybe we call a split in the future this in weeks, and display the completion of each week, so the students know how they are doing in the week that they are and what they need to finish that week. And so there are a lot of things that we can improve, of course. But I say this is a project that is going to be done in 6 months by students that they need to do other things too. They are not working 40 hours a week. So the first version is going to be basic, and it's going to have gradebook and assignments. That's our idea. In the future, we will try to add more things.
And Jesus was saying on here that thinks it's really important adding a way to select students which haven't completed some progress, and so the instructor can write them.
Oh,
so yeah, I think that's important too. So definitely writing that down and try to add that functionality in there on some of the reports.
yes, that's a very good idea. Good. great. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I
And
just, yeah, and I just want to say thank you, everybody, giving us your time and listening to me ramble for about 30 minutes here.
Yeah, thanks, Diego and Jonathan.
thank you, Ken.
Thank you, Ken.